What's good, guys? Your man DL Saint. I just got the news. Just got home with my daughter. I was kind of setting up for tonight's show at 7 p.m. and just saw some really bad news out there. Charlie Kirk has been shot. Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, shot at Utah Valley University Event School says, and I'm afraid he didn't survive, guys. I'm afraid he didn't survive. This is terrible news, man. Terrible news. Uh, Brother Jack, yeah, it looks like he has been confirmed. He has not survived this attack. Um, this is Yahoo News. The Turning Point USA co-founder was speaking in front of a large crowd on the campus of Utah Valley University. Charlie Kirk, a popular conservative commentator, was shot while speaking at to a large crowd at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, on Wednesday. A spokesman for the university confirmed to Yahoo. Kirk was speaking at a planned open-air rally at the school when a single shot rang out near the food court, striking Kirk in the neck. Damn. A law enforcement source told the Associated Press that Kirk was being treated at a hospital and is in critical condition. He has since passed away, guys. He did not survive the attack. He did not survive his injuries, unfortunately, man. This is so sad. The school's spokesperson initially said the suspect was in custody. However, there was no suspect in custody. University spokesperson Scott Trotter later told the Utah-based newspaper Desert News. Kirk is a prominent conservative activist and ally of President Trump, co-founder of Turning Point USA, an organization that advocates for conservative politics on high school and university campuses. We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. Trump posted to Truth Social. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him. FBI Director Cash Patel wrote in a post on X that the Bureau was closely monitoring the situation. And as I said, this is ongoing, guys. This news, again, this is terrible news. This is terrible news, man. Yeah, Brother Jonathan, yeah. Trump just said about 15 minutes ago. I was just kind of, I set up for today's show. I planned on streaming at 7. We're talking about something completely random. We're just talking about Hollywood and stuff like that, what's going on with that. And then I saw this news. Actually, I follow the Young Democrats, Young Republicans, and all that kind of stuff. And the Young Republicans on Instagram made a post. I actually saw that post, and I had to read it a few times. Like, what? And then I kind of jumped on to look at the headlines, and sure enough, this is where we are. This is 8 minutes ago. Trump says that Charlie Kirk is dead. President Trump announced in a post on Truth Social account that Charlie Kirk has died as a result of the shooting. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. Trump wrote, no one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie Kirk. Again, these are the words of President Donald Trump. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. This is terrible, guys. This is terrible, and this is where politics has gotten us, bro. Like this is terrible discourse, man. Like it's you got to fuse in the anger, the hatred that's been stoked, for political purposes. Man, it has consequences downstream. This is not what political discourse should look like. I mean, if I don't agree with you politically, that doesn't mean I go get my weapon and go hunting for you. I simply just don't listen to you. Or, we can debate. I tell you my side of it, you tell me your side of it, and, we figure it out. Sometimes we can agree to disagree and just walk away. But this right here is ridiculous. Now, you also got to tie to this. We have a mental health care crisis in this country. What do I mean by that? We got too many crazy people walking around, bro. And a lot of that is due to us medicating kids. These kids grow up, bro, being on powerful medications from the time that they were 6 or 8, or even younger in some cases. We medicate kids and think that somehow that's not going to have a downstream effect when they get older. People don't know how to cope with shit. And this is not how you do it. right? And this is coming from a dude like, I come from a very hyper violent place, man. You know what I mean? Like people say, we come from the hood, but it is what it is. People were getting down in the hood doing what, the gunplay was something different. It kind of made sense. It revolved around money. It revolved around an illegal trade. It revolved around people trying to be tough. You know what I mean? Talking about gangbangers and whatnot. This right here, bro, just doesn't make any sense to me, man. And Charlie Kirk, for Brother Michael, Charlie Kirk was a very big voice on the conservative side, man. He was like going to colleges, and he was one of the guys on the conservative side is really pushing what he was pushing, the conservative talking points and stuff like that. It's not like he was calling for radical stuff or anything like that, bro. I mean, and then just kind of watching this, just you guys remember when the dude went to Fuentes' house? Right now, Fuentes talks about some real radical stuff. Like if you're out there and you're really radical, you need to keep your heads up. You need to really pay attention to what's going on, because these people ain't playing, bro. Cody is king in the building, man. Definitely a cowardly act, man, to go out and just pop somebody like that, bro. Definitely, man. Definitely, man. People don't understand what's going on. I think the inability to think, the way we heavily medicate folks, everyone gets a trophy kind of thing. It's, and then when people are faced with reality, man, they don't want to deal with it, and they want to put it on someone, man. They want to blame someone. This doesn't make any sense, bro. I'm gonna see if I can find something on the news on YouTube. Let me see what they're talking about on YouTube. Like I said, man, I don't agree with Charlie Kirk's politics, but I don't think anyone should go out like this. I mean, he ain't doing anything. He's doing what Americans do, bro. Like this is American discourse. This is how we get down. It's not like we're doing something. He wasn't out here in boots, black stormtrooper boots with SS bolts on his chest, bro. This dude was just out here advocating for his politics, which I don't agree with. But I don't think this should happen to anybody. I really don't think this should happen to anybody, man. We got real problems over here, bro. We got real problems. Let's listen to what I have to say on the news.
Now to try to evacuate people who were still there. President Trump posted about Kirk on Truth Social. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Those words from President Trump. Let's go now to our CBS News national security contributor, Samantha Vinograd. And Sam, the talk about the security detail, he had some people around him, but no metal detectors, nothing like that. That's something that's most certainly going to be looked at going forward.
Well, Maurice, this is just a devastating development, and certainly there will be an after action of what security protocols could have been in place to try to prevent this horrific incident. But right now, there's certainly a heavy focus on how to apprehend whomever was responsible for this terrible incident. We don't yet know if law enforcement authorities have actually identified a suspect, if they've been able to ascertain whom in the crowd was responsible for shooting Charlie Kirk. So the first order of business is certainly to identify a suspect. They can do that through eyewitness accounts, through social media, through videos from the scene, and other uses of advanced technology. Once they do identify who was responsible for this incident, they will certainly be working to locate the individuals through warrants at the individual's property, reviewing their social media, talking to friends and family, and then, if necessary, employing a range of federal, state, and local law enforcement assets to try to track the individual if that individual is at large. What we don't yet know is whether there still is an ongoing threat to the public. If a suspect has not been identified and has not been apprehended, Maurice, that may in fact be the case.
Sam, anything from the video we have seen?
I mean, this obviously is an ongoing situation. I don't know how law enforcement has changed, but, from my training in the military and just from walking around on the streets, the first thing you want to do is you want to secure the area. It's a crime scene. You can't just let people get out of there. They might be involved, but definitely they can tell you something. You want to gather your witnesses. But this seems to be open air There were no metal detectors. And this is something that, you know, people need to understand, bro. Like we're living in a time right now it's the safest time we've ever lived in as Americans, as humans, but we still have problems. And this is one of the problems. Look at all those people, bro. Look at all those people. He drew that kind of a crowd. And then the reports are it was one shot to rang out, scored one hit. Apparently he was hit in the neck, didn't survive. But look at that. There's no way to secure all that, man. I mean, you got people running. You got people trying to find cover. There's no real cover there. It's just all open. You got people trying to help, you know, brother Charlie who was hit. I'm sure that there's people making calls. There's 911 calls going on. This is complete chaos. And how are you going to be able to piece this together? Look at how they have it. He's doing one of the prove me wrong things, man. There he is right there. He's doing one of the prove me wrongs. They have a little barricade set up right there. Someone had to be close enough to get off around and score a hit. It could be anybody right there I mean, you can't be too far away. You need a line of sight, and you see that there, man. Let's listen to what they're saying.
Reprehensible in the United States of America. We must reject political violence in every form. And what's notable about Newsom weighing in is the fact that earlier this year, as he launched his own podcast, the governor invited Kirk on to discuss essentially how Kirk had successfully done it for years for Republicans and what it was perhaps the Democrats could learn in their engagement digitally and in events like this to reach young.
And Brother Jack is saying it was a rifle. Now that changes everything completely. That changes everything. So the distance increases exponentially. You're talking about a rifle, iron sights, or a rifle with a scope, an open air like that. That guy could be, I mean, bro, he could be, you know, yards and yards and yards away. You know, this is, and Cody, you know, Cody, you're right, bro. Like, this is definitely going to be used to kind of increase the surveillance state. As far as them taking away the Second Amendment, that's not going to happen, bro. But there's always people trying because it's just so many weapons. So even like the scene right here where everyone's running, like your shooter could have been up elevated. Your shooter could have been anywhere. He could have been anywhere. I mean, it's just going to take time to figure out where he was. And I'm talking about the shooter. One round. Like my assumption would be either he was fairly close or it was a scoped weapon. Jack Black saying that the wound was actually huge, which, you know, could have been high powered, bro. Could have been 7.62. Could have been, you know, Full Metal Jacket, man. Could have been a 308 round. A lot of people, the most common would be 5.56. But man, oh man, could have. I mean, it could have been 22. Like, you just don't know, man. But yeah, man, the shot could have bounced around. It could have been a smaller round. We just don't know. I mean, this is all speculation. Like, we just don't know. You know, I didn't follow Charlie Kirk that much, but just, you know, change my mind stuff. I mean, I've watched him do, you know, hundreds of debates. I didn't have a problem with the guy. Like, I didn't agree with all his politics. Some of the stuff I agreed with, but no one deserved this, bro. No one deserved this, man. And Cody was saying, I guess there's audio out there. It sounded like it was far. You know, I mean, dude, you can be far away. Let's listen to a little bit more.
Farland now. Scott, first we were told they have a suspect, and now we're told they had the wrong guy.
Yeah, we've been blanketing our FBI contacts with questions about this over the last few minutes because there is a lack of clarity over what is the status of any manhunt for whoever pulled the trigger today. The Utah Valley University statement issued mid-afternoon.
I just want to pause it there for 1 second, man. I'm just looking at this area, the tent area here to the bottom left of the screen. I believe that's where they were. These buildings, man, anywhere in these buildings, you can open up a window. You can be lying down somewhere with a bipod. If you have a high-powered rifle and a stable platform, bro, you don't have to be that experienced to score hits. And one shot, man.
Was that a suspect was in custody. About 20 minutes later, they walked that back. And the FBI, we know, is on the ground at the site of this shooting. They've given no updates on whether they are pursuing somebody, have somebody, or if somebody is even alive who's involved with this shooting. The Utah Valley University police are helping to respond to this, the local police. And we know, according to folks at the university have spoken with CBS News. They're going door to door now on campus to help evacuate anybody who's there. They want everybody off this campus. And if you are doing a door-to-door evacuation, if you are offering to come get people and walk them off the campus, that's indicative of a kinetic threat, of something that is not fully settled at this point. But we're going to keep tapping into FBI sources here to get some a sense of what's going on. But I'll tell you, it is unorthodox now. We are 2 hours and about 20 minutes since this shooting, and we do not have an update from law enforcement if they have somebody either in their sights or in handcuffs.
Door to door, Scott, that suggests a dicey situation there at Utah Valley University. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. Right now, former Republican National Committee Chair Michael Whatley joins us. Mr. Whatley, you knew Charlie Kirk. Our condolences for sure. What can you?
Damn, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, nephew. And Cody, to answer your question, I haven't seen the video, but I just saw it. My people just sent it to me. Extremely graphic. I'm not going to show that. The video's out there, guys. It was one shot. It sounded to me like sounded like a high power rifle to me. I'm thinking 308, and to the impact and the aftermath of once that round impacted poor Charlie Kirk. Yeah. You only see stuff like that in combat, bro. You see stuff like that in combat and in the hood, like in some real nasty gang violence type stuff, bro. I'm not going to post it, guys, but it's out there. It's on X. It's swirling around. If you guys want to see it, that's on you. I'm not even going to put a link in the chat. I don't, man, no one deserves to go out like that, especially some man who was just out there talking. Appreciate that, Cody. Yeah, my man, my nephew already sent it to me. I just looked at it. And Cody sent me one from far as well. But in the video that I just watched, you guys saw me in the background watching the video. I heard the report of the round, of the weapon firing. I'm not gonna lie to you, that didn't sound too far away. Like whoever fired that, it didn't sound too far away. And it's like, to me, I mean, I could be wrong, but to me, it didn't sound like that person was too far away. And it sounded like a heavy round. I'm thinking 7.62, 308. It sounded like that. And again, I could be wrong, bro. I mean, I'm not out on the range like I used to be. There was a time when you can fire a weapon and I can tell you exactly what it was. But now, I mean, I'm just not on the range as much. Although I spend a good amount of time training, but that was horrific. That was horrific. Yeah, you're right. And it's all over X. And I got the audio too. I got to hear it, Cody. I'm just here to tell you, man, no civilian, no normal person, no American needs to go out like that. All he was doing was talking, bro. All he was doing was talking. And I have no idea what this person, they're going to catch this person. Whoever did it, they're going to catch them. I have no idea what their affiliation is. You know, the assumption is this guy's probably some extreme liberal. But here's the thing. He could be extreme anything. It could be someone who just crazy. You just have no idea, bro. You just have no idea. Let's get back to the news coverage.
In strongest possible terms, the attack. You know, you see this kind of reaction from Republicans as well. Tom Tillis, the senator, praying for Charlie Kirk. Political violence has no place in our society. So bring in.
Yeah, and Cody, you're right. Depends on what you consider far. I'm thinking that shot was taken from less than 40 yards away. That's going to be my guesstimate, man, but we'll see when the investigation comes out.
And the specter of violence continuing to hover over the United States and our political culture. You see leaders in both parties expressing horror at what is unfolding here on a college campus today, a time when so many students are going back to school, starting their classes in September. It's the carnage of violence at a political leader. And this country has seen it many times before. You think about President Lincoln. You think about the shots fired on President Reagan. Of course, President Kennedy being gunned down in 1963, and other political figures have been shot. You think about George Wallace running for president being shot. He survived. Charlie Kirk, at such a young age, being gunned down, assassinated at a political event. This is something that is bracing for so many of the people we cover. Yes, there is a political debate that's often very testy in this country, but so often behind the scenes, most people I cover see the dignity in the other person across the way.
You know, right now there's no information on. There's nothing really to tell the public. They're looking for the shooter. They're looking for the person. They're gonna piece all this together. And Cody, this is a good question. Like, what do you think, DL, emotional attack or political hit? I really think when we find this person, is if the person even surrenders, the person might delete themselves. But I think it's going to be a troubled individual. I think it's going to be someone. I think it's going to be a combination of both, bro. I think it's going to be an emotional person who doesn't have a grasp on reality, that they're crazy and motivated by going down the wrong rabbit hole and being radicalized by algorithms. And I think it's just going to be someone who took action. Which, think about the guy who took the shots at the time, former President Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. That guy fired off a lot of rounds. And the only reason that he didn't score any hits is because Trump moved at the last moment, which, thank God. If Charlie Kirk was just sitting there, he was just a static target, bro. It's like being at the range is target practice. That's so sad what happened, man. But I think it was an unstable person. And I think it's emotions and the algorithm and being mean and angry and upset at life and upset at where you are in life. And they just took action on this guy. That's what I think, bro. That's what I think, man. Oswald, I like that guy. What was the name of the dude that the Marine that was in the church tower or whatever in Texas back then? I can't remember his name, but that dude did a lot of damage, man. I don't know about that, bro. I think it's just gonna be. We got too many lone wolves, bro. I think it's lone wolves. Let's see what they're saying. Breaking news. Let's listen in.
Hello, everyone. I'm Major Garrett in Washington. This is a special edition of The Takeout. Charlie Kirk, one of the most important voices and voter mobilization forces in the MAGA movement, was shot and killed in full public view today at the start of one of his signature Prove Me Wrong events on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Videos circulating online reveal a single gunshot and a wound that eyewitnesses said struck Kirk's neck and resulted in considerable bleeding. Just moments ago, President Trump posted on social media that Kirk had perished, writing, quote, "No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie." This show will focus entirely on this developing story, which is harrowing for a show that is devoted to conversation about politics and civility within the public space.
They've already turned this into a regular show thing here. Like, it went and moved the desk and all that. We'll jump back in there when they start talking details, man. But I think this was a lone wolf kind of thing. I mean, bro, think about it. Who knows what this could be? I think it's a lone wolf, just some weirdo went down the wrong rabbit hole, radicalized, isolated, thinking they're doing something good, and they go out and they do this horrific event. That's what I think is going to be when it's all said and done. Just another crazy person with a gun. My thing is, I think of people like Myron Gaines. I know Myron. I like Myron. You know what I mean? I don't agree with his politics either. I think he's way too far to the right. But Myron's outside, bro, doing the same thing, convincing me I'm wrong, going to college campuses. It could happen to him. It could happen to people on the left. Hassan Piker might go out and do something one day. It could happen to him. This is not America, bro. We got to do something about it. The answer is not taking the guns away, by the way, y'all. That's not the answer, because there are too many weapons out here, bro. Let's listen up.
Moment that Kirk was shot, it did appear that the shot came from some elevated position. He was in a vulnerable position because there were elevated buildings around a large open grassy area that you're seeing there. You see students running in the immediate aftermath. Here is the video that we're talking about that appears to show the shot that was fired. We're told a single shot. This is a very challenging crime scene. And if law enforcement is still looking for that suspect, every minute that goes by widens the periphery of places that they need to search. There was especially confusion because we got early reports that a suspect was in custody. In fact, police did arrest a man, but they said that this was not the shooter and that individual was released. So at this time, Major, still a lot of questions.
And this was an amphitheater setting, hundreds.
And Cody, they're blocking mine too. They're blocking my comments too, bro. And I'm just putting in there, okay, I can see that. Blame the wrong person. They won't let me put that in the chat, bro. That's crazy.
And to have a full dialogue with those who are either supportive of his points of view or highly critical of his points of view. And as I've come to understand, Anna, there was no particular security checkpoints at all, no weapons checks, no magnetometers, nothing like this, a real free speech atmosphere. And as I understand it, the university has said that the single gunshot came from some considerable distance. And as I understand it, Anna, there is a building by building search going on that campus currently?
That's exactly right. As we're talking right now, police are going building to building, room to room to safely evacuate students, faculty, and staff. That the students were told to hunker down and wait for police to find them and securely evacuate them. That, of course, was immediately following the sort of race to leave that initial area, that grassy open field that we were just looking at. So while there was chaos, then police stepped in to go building to building. That also suggests that there is not necessarily a neutralized threat. We don't know, but it appears that there could be a suspect still at large as we are speaking right now.
It sounds like they have absolutely nothing to go on. You going out there, bro, and I see Mandrell's in the chat. Mandrell, there's a video out there, man, that actually shows the impact of the round. You can hear the weapon being fired. You see the impact. And the only reason I'm telling Mandrell is because Mandrell's a professional, bro. Hey, Mandrell, I'm gonna send it to you, bro. I just want to get your professional opinion. I don't know who this is. Let's listen to who they got out here right now.
You experienced what you experienced. I am appreciative that you're willing to discuss it. Can you tell me what happened?
Certainly, yes. I attended the event with my 17-year-old son, Ryder Overton, this afternoon. We got there about an hour early and had found some what we thought were good seats. It wasn't until shortly after that we moved down to the fence and were allowed to sit just off from the stage where he presented. Everything went as planned. He actually even came out and handed my son, a couple of hats. So it was a wonderful, wonderful gesture, and we were excited. And after about the second question that was asked is about the time we heard the shot, I diverted to look up just for a second to see where the sound had come from. And then seconds later, witnessed Charlie with a hole in his neck and bleeding. It was at that time we laid down on the ground, not knowing what, or how many shots might follow. And at that point, it was just a matter of trying to get out of the gates and go to a safe place.
How does this land on your heart, Mr. Overton?
I mean, America's always been a violent place. I mean, even though violent crime is down, but America's always been violent. When you think about the Wild West, think about the Roaring Twenties, think about, the rise of the mafia and stuff like that. Think about, Prohibition. But you just hate seeing it, man. You just hate seeing it. And hey, Cody, I saw the DMs you sent me, bro. Anything that, I ain't gonna lie to you, man, I gotta keep it 100, man. Anything that Alex Jones has to say, I stay away from. He's just, again, that's another dude that's just too far out there. But that doesn't mean he's not correct. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that he doesn't have the truth. It's just, to me, Alex Jones is just tainted, especially the way he talks about what happened to these children and stuff like that. And, the Sandy Hook thing, to me, Alex Jones will always be tainted. But again, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have some true information. That's my take on that. And like I sent Mandrell that video just because, he can, Mandrell, you watched the video, bro. I know you in the chat. You watched the video. Your opinion, man, distance. Like, I'm just thinking about distance. Like, you heard that, you saw that distance, and what type of round you think was used, bro. I'm just curious, man, if you could throw that in the chat. Like, because I'm thinking no more than 50 feet, bro. That's what I'm thinking. Let's get back to this guy's story.
it happened so quickly, and we were all just at that point concerned about our safety and getting to a safe place.
And how did you go about that, Mr. Overton? I imagine that was a pretty chaotic circumstance.
It was because of the number of people trying to get out the same area that we were. We actually had fallen down, and it could have turned a lot more ugly. But we actually found a break in one of the guardrails or one of the fences there that we were able to get through, and then kept our heads down and ran for as long as we could.
Mr. Overton, I'm lucky enough in this world to be a parent to 3 children. Every parent sometimes gets very difficult questions from their children, hard to answer. I imagine that's a particularly heavy burden on your shoulders this afternoon.
Yeah.
What have you talked with your son about in the aftermath?
Well, we had a discussion about how difficult it is to stand up for your rights, to listen. There's been we spent most of the time going back in silence. To be honest with you, it was just really.
Most people in America aren't used to dealing with hyperviolence. Unfortunately, some of us are. Like if I witness something like that with my daughter or my children, I'm going to be talking about security. I'm going to be talking about safety. I'm going to be drilling down why I'm always looking for stuff in this and that. That's what I'm going to be telling my child. And I'm going to be, I'm going to talk to my child, and then I'm going to go get my child some help. I'm going to do some formal counseling and stuff like that, because that's extremely traumatic to deal with. If you're sitting there, and thanks for those videos, Cody, I appreciate it, bro. I just took a glance at one. I'm going to look at another one here in a minute. You're sitting right there, bro. You're sitting feet away from someone, and you watch them leave this existence, and you see the violence, man. Like it's bro. You know what I mean? And look at Mandrell. Mandrell saying, and Mandrell, just to give you guys a quick background, former Green Beret, he was on the teams. He's done real world missions. The guy knows what he's doing. He's a weapons sergeant. And he's like, it's hard to say from the video, but it was definitely amateur hour, which means, there's a certain way pros do it. So, we're going to be able to rule that out. I didn't think it was a pro thing, although that was in the back of my mind. Like, was someone trying to get him? Like, did he owe money? Is someone trying, you know what I mean? But whoever did that, bro, look at that place. There's so many places you can be elevated, you know what I mean, to kind of draw a bead on him. And man, oh man, the truth is going to come out, though.
Every time you had a conversation with him.
I want to underscore the dynamic that was present there at Utah Valley University, because it's very similar to other things that Charlie Kirk has done. And Charlie goes to all sorts of campuses. And he sits in full public view, welcomes questions from critics, and tries to answer them, and enjoyed, forgive me, the give and take, the back and forth of it. And that created a kind of energy around these events, which was clearly evident before it started. Lots of people were there, very happy and excited to see it. That's something that was not typical in Republican Party politics even 5 or 10 years ago.
No, it absolutely wasn't. And
that's one of the things I respected about Charlie Kirk, man. He would come up there and 10 toes down, and let's have the conversation, let's have the debate, whatever. You know what I mean? He won a lot, he lost a few. I respect that. I respect that from anyone. But this, and look where they are, guys. I'm going to tell you, the reason, if they were somewhere in a big city or a big campus somewhere, there'd have been more security. They're out in the middle of flyover country, bro. They're out there in the middle of nowhere. Like, look at the crowd. They're out there in the middle of nowhere. And that scene right there, bro, that could have been the angle that the shooter had. You have to, damn. It's just terrible, bro.
Is there a Trump second term without Turning Point USA?
no, I mean, he was a very influential part of all of the campaign that we put together. I mean, he was involved. I mean, he started this thing when he was 18 years old. I mean, just absolutely stunning. The number of events that I participated in, that the president participated in, other members of the cabinet, have been involved with, not just in 24, but over the course of really since 16. He has been a very important part of our coalition of the Trump movement. And I think really it's bigger than Trump. I think it is an America First movement. And Charlie was a huge factor. There's going to be a tremendous hole in that movement in our community going forward.
I mentioned at the opening of the show that our country is struggling with a reality. in which there is not only very intense political rhetoric, but there has been violence and victims on both sides of the aisle. Maurice Dubois, my colleague, asked you, how did we get here? That's an impossible question to answer, equally important.
You know, and Brother Paul is right. There's so many, because of this technology, folks can put their 2 cents in and it's out there for everyone to see. Like back in the day, you know, we would have these conversations in the barbershop or at the bar or in the backyard or over the telephone. But now we're having these conversations collectively, and potentially the whole planet could be in on the conversation. So, you know, I get what Brother Paul is saying, and you're right. I mean, people, you could be spinning a narrative, this, that, and the third, but it's just trying to think it through. And, you know, the way he was hit, he fell to his left. That round came out to the left side of his body, so the shooter would have been off to his right. You know, I'm sure the enforcement looking at this. Pretty sure the FBI is involved. I'm pretty sure the feds are involved, because this is a small college. They're going to need all the help they can get to kind of figure this out. But getting in and out of there with the rifle, setting up, you know, I think it's going to be someone that's just mentally, that had, you know, just crazy, bro. I don't even know the PC term, bro. It's going to be somebody that's crazy that went down the wrong rabbit hole, bro. These AI algorithms will feed you the most radical stuff if you're not careful, bro. And, you know, it's easy to displace your anger onto other people. Real easy, man. Like I said, bro, I'm gonna send Myron a text right now. Like, be careful out there, bro. Be careful out there. Let's listen to this media.
You know, and I think that that's very important. And I really do think that we all need to reflect on what it is that we're trying to accomplish here through these political means, and that violence is not acceptable. It is not at all.
And that your political opponent is not your enemy.
Correct.
You fundamentally believe that.
I do absolutely believe that. I think that when we talk about in any political campaign, you know, what are people ultimately running for? Politics is about helping people. Politics is about lifting up communities. Politics is about making sure that families
and that the
can
American
do better.
Experiment, as we've come to know it, continues.
Absolutely.
Continues.
Yes.
Not runs off the rails in some sort of torrent of violence and bloodshed.
Yes.
Do you feel, as a candidate for the United States Senate, different about your personal safety this afternoon as we speak than you did when you woke up this morning?
No, you know, and one of the things about being the RNC chair is that when I was elected by the RNC to be the chair, that changed my life, right? And so I have had to have security systems, you know, put into my home that were advanced, and I had to have security details when I was the RNC chair, and that I had to move around with staff and always, you know, pay attention to these things. You know, as a candidate right now, you know, I'm going to have events in all 100 counties of North Carolina. I'm going to be out and I'm going to be meeting with people. And you always want to be very careful about that. I think that, you know, anybody in this space has to be very mindful from a security perspective, because you don't know necessarily what to expect in any given situation.
Right, but on the same part of that ledger, as a candidate, you have to meet the people.
You do.
You have to see them where they are, as the phrase goes. And that might be at a shopping center, it might be at a school, it might be outside a factory, it might be at a farm, but you have to see them exactly where they are. And you can't bring a phalanx of security personnel to get in their face and do all that sort of stuff. How do you balance that?
Well, I think that we have to trust in the goodness of the people of North Carolina in my particular race, and I think hopefully across the country. You know, but it is a real crushing, you know, story that we're dealing with here today.
It is.
And I think, you know, I want to make sure that we continue to go back to the fact, you know, that this man was a husband and this man was a father.
Dude didn't deserve it, man. It ain't like he was out there. He didn't deserve it. There are people out there preaching straight up hatred. They're trying to recruit people to go out and do heinous things to other folks. He wasn't one of those people. He didn't deserve this, man. And, you know, yeah, man, there's a lot going on out here. Like even what Cody is saying right now, man, this whole thing, in America, you're not gonna get a race war. It's just not gonna happen. Now, you might get an uprising, you get a revolution. You'll get the bottom 99 going against the top 1%. In my opinion, but you're not going to get a race war. it just, the vast majority of Americans, man, they ain't built for that. And, you know, the people that you would come after, bro, like just, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to get that. But you're going to continue to see this sort of thing. And, I mean, it's just so damn sad, bro. I mean, think about the 60s, man. You know, man, like, political folks were dropping like flies, man. It was just, you know, you look at Dr. King, Malcolm X, JFK, you know what I mean, RFK. Right, there was so many other public officials back then getting hit, and it was all tied into all sorts of things, bro. You're not gonna get that, but there are people who think that they can spark something like that. You know what I mean? A race war in America is not gonna get sparked in Utah because, you know, black folks are gonna look at this and like, most black folks don't even know who Charlie Kirk is, first of all. Black folks are looking at this like, what does that have to do with us? Right? So this isn't us, right? Damn, so sad.
Across the country here in the coming hours as it happens. I think you see them there now lowered at half staff. So that's another thing that has happened. And we've seen the political reaction continue to pour in from Republicans, of course, but Democrats as well. Just a little while ago, former President Joe Biden and his conveying thoughts of his own and then of the former First Lady, saying there's no place in our country for this kind of violence. It must end now. Jill and I are praying for Charlie Kirk's family and loved ones. But I think, Major, one of the things that guys like you and I who do this for a living and our staffs need to remember is there are going to be a lot of people who see this news this afternoon and have no idea who Charlie Kirk is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not their fault.
No.
And it speaks to the incredibly digital and algorithmic world that we now live in, that their scroll on a daily basis is not serving them Turning Point USA or Charlie Kirk adjacent content. They have no idea what he's done for the Trump movement, for the Make America Great Again movement, for the Republican National Committee, for GOP candidates up and down the ballot across the country, and the influence he had in putting together the Trump government, the second Trump government, being at Mar-a-Lago last fall during the transition, literally sitting there with the president and a handful of other aides going, that guy, not that guy for this job, that woman, not her for this other gig, and making sure that they could get confirmed and that the Senate delivered the votes necessary. Also the guy that was putting pressure on people like Senator Joni Ernst earlier this year when she raised concerns about Pete Hegseth's nomination to run the Pentagon. He was the one that threatened potential primaries and other political retribution should they not follow through with the president's wishes. He was that kind of an influential figure. And in the world we live in, you know, you may not listen to his satellite radio channel, but a lot of your relatives and friends and coworkers probably did. They'll know who he is, and you should talk to them about who he was and what he did. And the fact that, as the chairman said and others have said, he was a happy warrior. We should be looking for happy warriors on all sides of the aisle and celebrating them and letting them be happy warriors, whether you like them or not, whether you agree with them or not.
Exquisitely well said, Ed. And I think it's.
I was just looking at the video they were showing during that piece. And I'm telling you, bro, whoever did this was captured on someone's cell phone or some camera. I'm just looking at it. Looking at the video when poor Charlie was hit, seeing the X and wounds. So you see the X and wounds, so you know which way the round came from. There's going to be a muzzle flash. There were nothing but cameras. You got hundreds and hundreds of people there, all got their phones out. There's nothing but cameras there. Someone got a picture of the shooter. I'm guaranteeing you, man. Someone got a picture of the shooter. You know what I mean? This is crazy, man. And again, it's like you see the people here. Like, man, it's like we don't really rock with dude like that, but you don't want to see this happen to anyone. Right? I sent Myron and Fresh a message like, bro, y'all need to be careful. This is just, I think this is a byproduct of where technology is right now. And, people, they wound up in, like, again, these AI-driven rabbit holes that's being sent video after video after video, interview after interview. And they see this, man, and they're not right. They're just not right. And they keep seeing it over and over again. And then they decide to act on it. And then you're talking a country where we have more weapons. There are more guns in this country than people. So it's easy to get you a weapon. If you can't get one legally, you can get one illegally, anything you want. Right. And think about it. You would think if anywhere in America this guy would be safer, would be in Utah, at a small college in Utah. You saw all the people, you saw all the MAGA hats, you saw all the American flag T-shirts, no security, people thinking like, oh, it's just us, we're fine. And this is where they're wrong. Now, with all that power that Charlie Kirk wielded in D.C., is it possible he made a real enemy and someone decided to come after him? Maybe. Right. This is why you have to have an investigation. This is why people got to come out and do their thing and figure out what's going on. You know, who did what, why, where. They'll piece it all together, bro. They'll piece it all together. I don't think it's going to wind up being a conspiracy thing. I think it's simply going to be a lone wolf, crazy person with a gun. That's what I think is going to happen.
Will be the wound itself and the directional relationship, because Charlie Kirk was under this tent. You can see it. Came to somewhere around here. We are from eyewitness accounts and the available video that suggests a sort of area.
Law enforcement officials have a range of different technologies to literally trace where the bullet came from, what kind of rifle or other weapon was used, and then from there to just try to figure out exactly where this individual was standing when the shot was fired, so that they can really narrow their search to try to locate the individual's face in video or otherwise. At the same time, there will be an after-action major of how an individual like Charlie Kirk, his death is absolutely devastating. He was such a well-known figure, mass following, how he was speaking at an event that was widely publicized. Everyone knew where he was going to be, with some level of personal security, but without any kind of screening for individuals who really just walked up to this event. And it is a sad reality in our country today that individuals with this kind of profile are a target. And there was not a security perimeter. There were not metal detectors as far as we know. So some sort of after action by campus police and others will likely be undertaken.
You know, and Cody's asking me, like, do I think it was an emotional attack? Mandriel thinks it was an emotional attack. I think it was someone who went down these AI-driven rabbit holes and was already unstable. And this was, it just pushed them to do something. So, yeah, I guess emotional, but, you know, AI-driven. Right, this technology didn't exist when I was young, so you couldn't get inundated like this by sitting in your house, bro. You had to go and find these groups and get indoctrinated. You know, now you can be indoctrinated just by sitting in front of your phone. You can be sitting in your living room, in your bedroom, just watching your phone and get indoctrinated. So, yeah, I don't think it was an organized hit. I don't think that this was some sort of political statement. So yeah, Cody, I guess, yeah, it was an emotional thing. I think it was an unstable person, which makes it emotional, with a rifle, and access. That's what I think it was, bro. And that's sad. Yeah, I mean, you know, everyone's talking about that sort of stuff. I'm talking about that sort of stuff, bro. You know, talking about the trans thing, the Z thing, and, you know, I'm always talking about, you know, the timeout generation and all that. You know, I just, you know, we'll see who they find, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's just some young person, clean cut, who fell down a wrong rabbit hole, got indoctrinated, had a weapon, and had an opportunity to take a shot at this dude. And it's definitely not going to be someone that looks like me. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be someone from that world, just like that. I think it's going to be someone who looks like that guy that took a shot at President Trump in Pennsylvania. I think it's going to be along those lines. It's just going to be some weirdo with a gun, bro. That's what I think it's going to be. This is just insane, man. Insane.
Absolutely reprehensible.
Reed, I know, and you know better than I do, because
right, kind of like a Luigi dude, but I think this guy's gonna be someone, and it could just be speculating, guys. We don't know shit from Shinola now. We don't know nothing. But I think when it's all said and done, you're gonna get a guy who grew up probably conservative, probably around a lot of people, and then had a shift and just went hardcore the other way. And then again, went down these rabbit holes. I think it's going to be something like that, but it's going to be a lone wolf weirdo with a gun, in my opinion. That's what I think.
what are they like and how are they likely to change?
Well, you're exactly right, Major. The concern is accelerated, particularly
And like Cody's like, it was a clean cut guy as the Fed, or just a weirdo, bro. So many people want to tie this to something bigger. They want to make it more than it is. A lot of times it's just a crazy person with a weapon and access. Bottom line, like that Ukrainian refugee woman that got deleted on the train. She sat in front of the wrong person, just randomly. Sat in front of a crazy guy with a knife, right? It could have been someone else, right? It could have been someone else. You know, you just sat there. So, you know, that case, you just got a crazy dude who shouldn't have been on the street. The city knew he was crazy. Law enforcement knew he was crazy. The judge knew he was crazy. They should have kept him locked up. They didn't. And this poor woman had to pay for it with her life. This situation right here is just some person who's crazy, probably, and again, fell down these deep rabbit holes, got indoctrinated or whatever, got a weapon, and for whatever reason, in their crazy mind, if I just get rid of this guy, that's going to fix all the problems. Like talking about Charlie Kirk, I could just come with Charlie Kirk. And keep in mind, it could have been anybody. Remember the guy that took the shot at the president, that took us at Trump in Pennsylvania? He was looking for anybody. He was looking for Biden. He was looking for Harris, Trump. It could have been anybody. He was looking for just famous folks. It could be as simple as that. Like, I just want my little 2 minutes of fame. It could be something crazy like that, bro. I don't think it's going to be. Charlie Kirk wasn't big enough. Americans didn't know who he was. Like, again, you got probably 2/3 of America, maybe more, have no idea who this dude is. They're just now looking him up and just, trying to figure out what's going on. I don't think that this guy would generate some sort of coup d'etat style hit. You know what I mean? This dude ain't powerful enough for that. Who is this dude? He's just living like the rest of us. He's just talking a lot, right? Come on now. His fame really is from YouTube and just, change my mind videos. So nah, bro, I can't get with that, man. Scapegoat kind of thing, or, a conspiracy to get this one dude. Come on now. I don't see that. Think about it, bro. This will be the easiest person to hit. You ain't got to hit him in public like this. Get him at home. This will be the easiest. If you're trying to get this dude and you're like the government, you're like pros, you could get this dude all kind of ways. You could just get him in a car accident. Make it look like an accident. You could, so many things you could do. I think this is a lone wolf. And it's like Mandrill said, just looking at the video, sloppy work, amateur hour. That's what I think it is. Just some crazy person with a gun.
Now he's also author of the book, The Right, The 100-Year War for American Conservatism. Matthew, it's good to have you with us. There you are.
Thank you, Major.
This is a shocking and devastating and deplorable day in American political history. I imagine you have a lot to say about Charlie Kirk's influence, but before the influential part, the human part, the floor is yours, sir.
But to get on the South Park, man, like, come on, man. What's the name of the guy that came up with Family Guy? Seth MacFarlane, man. He's been on there. Dude, licking toads have been on there. Like that they're just, depends on what those guys are watching. So nah, man, I'm sorry, he ain't that big, bro. You need to be big enough to where Latinos, Asians, blacks, whites, and everyone else in between know who you are. I'm sorry, man, he ain't that big. He's big in his circles. Yeah, I give him that, right? He's not even the biggest MAGA guy. Again, people don't even know who he is, right? It's not Marjorie Taylor Greene. They don't know who he is. I think this is just a psycho, bro, who took an opportunity to take out someone, man, and it's sad. But I don't see it being any bigger than that, bro. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it.
Ball game in the first Trump administration, and then there are the kind of the less political acts of violence, or rather the political violence directed at private citizens, such as the gunning down of the United Healthcare executive last year by Luigi Mangione. This kind of propaganda of the deed, as the 19th century anarchists call it, is returning to America's campuses and college streets.
And bro, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. This is what happens when you stoke up hatred and fear, bro. When you encourage these kind of people, man, and then you couple that with this new technology, this is the type of shit that's gonna happen. And I might get in trouble for saying that, bro, and I'm not saying that Charlie Kirk stoked that kind of hatred. I'm not saying that at all. He didn't, but there are others that did, right? When you go out there and you know, you got your political things you want to do, and you're trying to get power, and you're out here and you don't care what you do. Like, you don't care about downstream effects. This is what happens, man. This is what happens, bro. And it's sad. I mean, it's really, really sad, man. You're right. I might be surprised. And think about South Park too, bro. Think about South Park. I don't know any black people who watch South Park. I don't watch South Park. I mean, I know what it is. I'll watch the clips, but I don't know any black folks who watch South Park. When I was in LA, man, everybody was talking about South Park, South Park. Man, I watched The Family Guy. I was never a South Park person. You know what I mean? But when you're in that world, I would talk to my friends, you know, in Cali and LA, the Hollywood kids, and bro, everything was about that. And I would just be sitting there like, nah, I don't know what y'all talking about. And it was funny because they're like, well, you be out here. I'm like, I do, but I don't know what you're talking about. And it just shows you how you can get down these rabbit holes and you think that that's your whole existence. And it's not. It's not. I know black people, man, they be talking about that FBA or FFB, whatever that is with the black slavery thing. And they be talking to me about that stuff. While I be looking at them like the RCA dog, man, looking at a speaker like, huh, what are you talking about? None of that makes sense to me. But in their world, they're like, well, everyone's on this. Like, not me, bro. I don't know what the hell you talking about. That shit sounds weird. Right? So everyone has these rabbit holes they go down. And if you get radicalized, shit gonna happen, man. How you think Al-Qaeda got their, you know, and these Muslim folks get folks to blow themselves up? Man, you blow yourself up, you're gonna get out 100 versions or whatever. Well, why can't I get my versions right now? I gotta blow myself up first. It's just insane.
What I'm saying. And this particular incident is, I think, most shocking and lands most impactfully because here we have an attack on the very roots of a free society, right? What was Charlie Kirk doing? He was speaking to students. He was on a college campus. He was trying to engage in civil debate. He was, as you've been saying on this program, and as everybody knows, a happy warrior. He would listen to the other side at these events. I've seen him do it in the past, and he would engage. And now whoever killed him didn't just mean to kill him. The killer meant to kill that whole structure that allows us to speak and to deliberate over public policy, public affairs. That's what I think.
Maybe this dude might be right. Maybe that's the thing. Or maybe this dude was like, I don't know, 3-Eye Atlas told me to do it. The big rock. I can hear the aliens on a rock and it told me to shoot this guy. You just don't know, bro. This is my whole point, man. Like, you just don't know. This is just crazy. But damn, this is the part of freedom, man. Like I said, freedom is scary, bro. Freedom is scary. And I don't want to lose or give away any freedoms either. I don't want to do that. But that's the part with Cody's argument. That's the part that I can get behind. They're going to use this to increase surveillance states. They're going to use this to make it easier to get warrants. Or maybe they'll go to a thing like, well, it could be warrantless. We're just going to trust the cops are going to do their job properly, which I don't believe. Come on now. We know cops don't do the job, right? Right? It's going to be, you know, we want to come and we want to come and take your weapons, that sort of thing. People may try, but I don't think that's going to happen. Certainly. I mean, think about it. When America didn't try to take guns away over Sandy Hook, and then there's more recent thing in Minnesota, they're certainly not going to take it over, you know, someone like Charlie Kirk. I mean, to arrest in America, I mean, it could have been D.L. Saint. Like, who's that guy? Yeah, going, you know what I mean? But I'm not trying to diminish Charlie Kirk's impact on America, on American politics, and you know what I mean, and like in his world. I'm not trying to diminish that at all. This dude has done the work. He was on his way, still a young guy, right? This would have been someone who maybe in 10 years' time would be running for president of the United States. This is one of those guys. He was putting in the work, right? But yeah, I'm with you, Cody. Like I get it, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. America, it's just not gonna happen. But again, I could be wrong. You know, I've been wrong before. I'm wrong often.
Conservative movement and Republican Party and Trump administration. So he, I think, represents well the energies behind the Trump movement today. It's been caricatured as a movement of old people, of rural Americans. But what gives it its dynamism is the young people that Charlie Kirk has brought to the movement. And that I think showed itself in the election results last year, where Donald Trump performed much better than expected among college-aged Americans. And the type of party that Donald Trump has brought into being, a Republican Party that includes people of all ethnicities, all races, is, again, I think, a result of the sort of activist work that Charlie Kirk performed so well, but so tragically in such a brief span of time.
Like, man, he was doing this thing. Brother Dino's in the building, man. This is tragic over here. And yeah, Trump really supports and admires and, loved Charlie Kirk. And I'm paraphrasing, but, you could tell that this is going to really hit Trump hard. A police state, if they try to impose a police state, this is why it's so dangerous with activating the National Guard and sending them into these cities to augment the police or whatever. In my opinion, the police state will cause some real problems. It will bring factions together to oppose the government. A police state will not work in America. Again, there's too many guns here. You know what I mean? So that's the danger in all this. And this is something that Donald Trump does not understand. You know what I mean? If they try to impose some sort of police state in America, bro, it's going down. That's when the tree of liberty is going to get watered. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's a very famous quote about the tree of liberty and tyrants and patriots. So this is, to me, the most dangerous part of all that. If I'm in the White House, I'm like, hey, man, easy on the National Guard stuff. Let's figure out another way to do this. If Trump tries to go full on, I'm about to do this, and I'm going to use the National Guard. We're going to go into Chicago and clean it up. We're going to go into South Central LA and clean it up. East LA, clean it up. We're going to go down to Miami and clean it up. With federal soldiers, yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to get real ugly. And that could lead to something really bad. Really, really bad.
Powerful, really, on the strength of his voice, and that was it.
And Olivier, he spoke about politics in a sort of larger-than-life way. This was a civilizational struggle, and he believed that Trump and Trumpism was part of the way America could save itself. And that found a resonance that I think at times even surprised Charlie, but it caught on.
Yeah,
college campuses and elsewhere.
Extraordinary resonance through his various old media and new media mechanisms for getting his message across. We're no strangers to political violence in America. We've had a bevy of presidents assassinated in office, but the system's been really blinking red in the last few years.
It has been. And I see what Cody's saying. There are those out there who are trying to push America into some sort of conflict within America. I don't think it'll be a race war, but certainly, again, a revolution or uprising. And if you try to put federal soldiers, if you try to militarize the police, then yeah, and then you try to take freedoms from Americans, yeah, that's when the black guys and the country guys, right, the trailer park guys, the guys in the barrio, that's when poor people come together like we ain't gonna have it. Because we understand in America there's a two-tier legal system. There's a legal system for us poor folks, and there's a legal system for the 1%. So now you got a militarized police force out there. Bro, they ain't gonna do nothing to the 1%, but they're gonna come after the 99, and that's where, in that case, yeah, that's what'll happen, and that's what Cody doesn't want. I feel you. Brother Paul is like, yeah, he can influence. If he could influence a senator, he's pretty big. Brother Paul, you and I both know, if you got enough money, we can influence the senator. You know what I mean? $5,000, a $5,000 donation to your senator will get you an audience with that senator. If you can do that a few times, right? If you can put your senator on your boat or whatever, or bring enough votes for that senator, then, it is what it is. That's American politics. That's the beauty of American politics. You don't necessarily have to just have money. If you have enough influence like Charlie Kirk, then you can get in the room and you can be heard.
Campus.
Violence, the specter of violence is everywhere in American politics right now. Unfortunately, it's part of our history. Think about President Lincoln, President Kennedy, shots fired at President Reagan, political candidates like George Wallace, lawmakers like Gabby Gifford, Steve Scalise, survived shootings. Charlie Kirk was someone who was so happy to be in the arena. I was just listening the other day to his conversation with Governor Gavin Newsom of California, podcast conversation, and Kirk could be a rap.
Yeah, and you look at, when, Trump took away Kamala Harris' security detail, guess what? The next president is more than likely going to be a Democrat because the economy is going bad and a lot of bad things are happening. That falls at the feet of the White House, right? The buck stops at the White House. So more than likely, the next president of the United States is going to be a Democrat, right? And that Democrat is going to revoke Donald Trump's security clearance or security detail, right? And as far as Kamala Harris, if Kamala Harris wants to do a book tour, she could do a book tour, right? It's not like Kamala Harris was going to go into hostile, red communities far over country to move her book, right? She's going to go into liberal cities. She's going to go into blue states and cities. The governors of those cities will provide details, right? The mayors of those cities will provide extra security. So, I mean, that's, that is what it is. That's just, some whatever stuff. You know what I mean? Like, as far as Kamala Harris is concerned, if I'm Kamala Harris, I wouldn't want to release that book right now because she might be surprised how many people won't buy it. Like, there's a lot of folks that's kind of mad at her for losing the election. Not entirely her fault, but a lot of it is her fault. So that's that point. And Cody is saying, like, he's like, exactly, people know the politicians are bought, so why not buy them? Exactly. I mean, American politicians, right now, Donald Trump has a menu, bro. If you want to get something done politically, if you need the White House, the president to give you some sort of executive privilege or write an executive order, it costs, I think the going rate right now is $5 million. If you give Trump $5 million, man, he'll do it. He'll do it. $1 million gets you an audience with him. $5 million, I think, is a one-on-one audience. No one else is around. That gets you in the door, throw a couple more million in there to sweeten the deal, and you can get it. And a lot of my Republican friends, a lot of my MAGA friends get mad at me when I say that. I'm like, well, prove to me that I'm not lying. Trump puts it out there, bro. If you give him the money, it's paid for play right now. All presidents do that to an extent. Trump just takes it to the highest level. I ain't mad at him. He is who he is. I read the book, y'all. The Art of the Deal, I read the book. Most people, especially Trumpers, especially MAGA people, they haven't even read the book, but they talk about it all the time. Read the book and you'll know what I'm talking about.
A darker side on social media right now, some folks celebrating the death, and of course, people sharing for clicks and clout the actual video of Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
Olivia Knox, Robert Costa, Molly Ball. It's been a very hard day. I thank you all for joining us. We will continue to bring you updates on the shooting and death of Charlie Kirk. Please stick with CBS News 24.
All right. That's that. I think that it's a very sad day, man. I mean, think of his family, his wife, bro. Like, this is a very sad day. For you people out here, you social media influencers, man, you YouTubers and stuff like that, man, you guys are out here, man. Y'all got to really pay attention. Really, really pay attention. Be careful out there. Something like this, I mean, yeah, you need better security. Like the college was wrong for not having the security. You need better security. But just look at bro, there's so many videos out here that, hold on, man. Let me show you guys this real quick. Let me pause that. I got to bring the screen back up. Let me show you guys something real quick. Give me a second. All right, we're going to watch this, guys. So you see the crowd in the background, right? And, of course, that's Charlie Kirk right there. The way he was set up, it was crazy. Look at this. Look at this. Wide open. Look at all those people. Look back here on this building here that has like a smaller roof or whatever. There are people on that roof. There are people on that roof. Now, again, that shot came from Charlie Kirk's right. The round would have entered the right side of his neck and exited the left, which means the shooter, I believe, would have been over here somewhere. But look at all the places the shooter could be. Look at all these people just moving. Just look at this. Right, this one after the shot, everyone's running for cover. Right, look at that, bro. Just no security whatsoever, bro. It's just terrible. It's just terrible, man. And I just tell my friends out there, bro. If you in this world, you got your face out there, man. Be careful. You just don't know. You just don't know, man. You just don't know. You got to be careful. But I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I'm supposed to go on in an hour. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I might just do it tomorrow. I might just push it to tomorrow. I'm not in the mood to talk about what I was going to talk about. I'm just going to move it to tomorrow, bro. But damn, man, just man, tell your family you love them. Hug your kids, hug your wife, hug your loved ones, give them a kiss. Tomorrow's not promised, bro. You could be sitting somewhere and some crazy person can come up and just take you away from them. And there's just nothing you can really do about it, bro. There's nothing you can do. We don't know. I saw the video, bro. My guesstimate is with no more than 50 yards. But bro, I just throw that out there because that's just my guesstimate. We have no idea how far away the shooter was at the time, but we'll get that information. That'll all come out, brother. This is just sad. This is America is the greatest place to live, but this is the stuff that we have to deal with in this country. We're definitely going to follow this up when they catch the suspect. I'm going to jump back on again. If they catch the suspect tonight, then I'll jump on tonight. But I don't really want to talk about anything else. It's just so sad, man. It's just so sad. What did Charlie Kirk do to anybody, bro? He was just out there exercising his right, his freedom of speech. That's all he was doing. That's all he was doing. And he did he worked hard. I respect his hustle. Didn't agree with his message, but I respect his hustle. And now he's gone, bro. He ain't coming back. So, damn. That's it. I appreciate y'all jumping in, man. Hey, guys, I really appreciate everything you put in the chat, man. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. Brother Tim, thanks for sending me the video. Brother Cody, thank you for sending me the videos. I mean, it was hard to watch, but I appreciate that just to have the information. Damn. And then the question in my mind is, who's next? You know what I mean? Like, who's next? This is just such a tragedy, man. It's just so sad. Doesn't make any sense. And I believe at the end of the day, it's going to come back to mental health, bro. This is a crazy person move. Crazy person move. Just like that dude was crazy on the train and he ended the life of that beautiful Ukrainian woman who was fleeing the war. She was a refugee. And she gets on a train and sits in the wrong seat and it cost her life, man. This is just crazy, man. It's just crazy. Brother Paul, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the donation, man. Thank you. Appreciate you, bro. I'm going to jump over on Black Man Unfiltered, man. I know y'all going to be talking about this tonight, so I'm going to jump over there, and I want to hear what y'all have to say about that. And Cody's like, yeah, something is definitely coming, man. I mean, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? You should warn your daughter not to watch it. Now, my daughter, I mean, she's in her own world. Like, the kids don't even know nothing about this. She's in her own world. She's doing her thing right now, talking to her friends. She don't know who Charlie Kirk is. And she's not going to want to watch that video. But it's just, even when you watch that video, bro, it's like a movie. I mean, we're so indoctrinated with violence in this country, man. It's like a movie, right? I mean, it's like special effects, but it's real life, so we just need to do something about mental health in this country. We definitely have an issue with firearms, but we need to do something about mental health. And it is what it is. I appreciate y'all, man. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk for sure, Brother Pitney. Look, Brother Michael's trying to get me to have more kids. I ain't doing that, bro. I got the old snippety snip snip. I ain't having no more kids. But damn, R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Prayers and thoughts out to his family and friends. And like Cody says, man, something is gonna happen. Something is coming. We know it's coming. It is what it is. Hug your family, hug your friends, bro. Man, this, our life is, tomorrow's not guaranteed, bro. Tomorrow's not promised. Read the Bible, Quran, Torah, whatever religious book you want to read, meditate, do what you got to do, and get up tomorrow, and let's get back to it, bro. So I'm out of here. I'm DL Saint, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking out with me. When we have these conversations, when we cover this sort of stuff, we don't do any sound effects. We don't do intro or outro. So I'm just out, man. I love y'all, bro. Stay safe.